Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Njenje Media TV this evening. I remain your host, Mazi Ezoke. This evening, I believe so many of you must have watched in disgust what is happening in the National Assembly. We have seen men, women whom you've given the collective patrimony for them to manage for us, and we have seen what they are doing with that trust that we've given to them. And to be part of this conversation this evening, I have here Barrister Kumopoyi, my good friend from England, is here in the studio. Barrister, good evening.
Good evening to you, Marcy.
And I also have my good friend here, Joe Obiajulu Oboko. Joe is from Delta States, but he is a full son of the Igbo nation. Joe, you're welcome to the studio.
Thanks, Marcy. Glad to be here.
Okay, so let's kick off. Let's kickstart the discussion this evening. The conversation, as I introduced, basically, as the title of this conversation this evening portends, it says, the Niger Delta, basically, the Niger Delta Development Commission, the National Assembly, a house of thieves. Now, let me start with my good friend in London, a barrister. Do you think that the Niger Delta Development Commission and the National Assembly of Nigeria, that both are houses of thieves?
Well, to start with, the word thief is very narrative. It's narrative in the sense that, well, unless proven guilty, no one could be held, to be culpable. We have to go through the process of law before we can declare anybody thief, corrupt, or whatever. We can allege. Allege is, well, just we have belief, reasonable belief. So until proven guilty, let's just hope the word to be, allege. Just a simple allegation that, well, we might believe that they are corrupt. So let's just have it from that end and continue with the discussion. Thank you.
So are you basically, I think you've answered that question as a barrister of law, and you telling us that it's probably could be an allegation. It's not yet confirmed. Joe, what do you think?
Well, he is speaking like a lawyer, but from my little experience about the affairs in this country up until now, it's just a manifestation of what many of us have known for a very long time. The system has been rigged and people are feeding fat on our common resources. It's gone on for a long time. And at that point, we took it as a norm. Every regime comes, plunder the system, and walk away. So today, I'm happy that for the first time, people that have managed NDDC are being called to account. It's important because everybody is watching. I will be glad if people can actually face the long arm of the law. Because if after all this drama, people still don't go to jail, then it will be a big shame and a big mockery on this nation and on its people. That's my opening remark on this.
Okay, let's come back to my good friend, the barrister. You obviously came from the legal side of it, but do we, for 1 second, that goes for both of you, do we for 1 second believe that anybody will be convicted?
Well, conviction in Nigeria is a marriage when we are looking at it constructively, because we've seen a lot of things damaged, and we've seen a lot of, lot of activities that's supposed to be, brought before the court, and people to be to be sentenced and be jailed. They are just walking around as if nothing is going on. We are just like in the state of nation with loose control. Nothing. Crime is now becoming a way of life. Nobody sees anything serious. If you steal, I borrow from from the former president. He said, "Oh, he's stealing $4,000 or £4,000. Is that one theft?" That is how, just to say, things are really bad in Nigeria. I will not say we cannot get out of this, shameful hand, but we need to put a lot of things in place before we can get to where we are going. Because as a nation, well, we have lot of things to celebrate, but with the way things are going, I don't think anything is worth celebrating for now. So we are in a dilemma. And how do we get out of the dilemma? Maybe you and I and everybody, we have to come together. In a show of shame, like we have today at the assembly, we have somebody, maybe, don't let me go into that because we have a lot to talk about that. But until we get our bearings, I don't see anything coming back to normal in that system. Thank you.
Well, Joe, what do you think? Do you, obviously, because you are the one that kickstarted it, for one second, think that someone will be convicted in this whole charade?
I'm quite optimistic. Some people will be convicted in this trial.
But it's not even a trial.
It has been so brazen.
By the House. It's not even a trial.
From the probe, yes. From the probe, some criminal prosecution is going to take place from this probe, because the cases are so brazen. It's so sad. If we had had previous bad administrations or management, this interim management is so sad, because their permanent purpose was to come and do a forensic audit. But rather than do that audit, they just felt it's our own time to take our own share. And you can see budgets are disregarded, financial rules are disregarded, people just disburse money without any qualms, no recourse to common sense, because they believe that easily go there, do whatever they like, and walk away. We can't continue like this. It's become a national shame and a national disgrace. If nothing is done, it's unfortunate. I'm sorry to say that they will be leaving a very bad legacy behind of infractions going unpunished. It will be a big lesson for the country.
Is it only actually the Niger Delta that is obviously in this mess? That is not only the Niger Delta, it is in all strata. Because actually, when you look at it, in the last 21 years of the existence of NDDC, I had a guest yesterday, Jackson Ude, who said that if you hear and see what is going on in the Northeast Development Commission, you will cry. So apparently, it's not only in the Niger Delta Development Commission. In the Northeast Development Commission is the same. Obviously, there appears to be
the entire public sector is in a mess. The entire public sector. We are talking about NDC today. I'm sure if you go to other sectors, you're going to find worse scenarios. There they were talking about refineries that have not worked for so many years and how much was being spent in those refineries. So it's a Nigerian thing. But I believe that if they use NDC to set an example, other agents and departments will follow from there. It will go around, or we to start where. That's my take. We need to start
honestly,
from somewhere. This is a very good example.
Joe, I am struggling to be, to share your optimism. We've been here before. We saw when Farouk Lawan was caught on glare of camera, where Otedola gave him $500,000. Now they said in that tape, I can play the tape. They said you will collect the balance of $2.5 million on tape. Yet 7-8 years later, nothing has happened. That man is still walking free today. Otedola is still walking free today. I mean, aren't we a joke of a nation? Barrister, what do you think?
Yes, we are.
Well, thank you very much, Marcy. The whole thing is just a drama. When I say drama, it's just like you are watching, home video. So we are in the theater of war. Why do I say we are in the theater of war? I mean, you just mentioned, hello?
Yeah, we're here. Go ahead.
Yeah. You just mentioned the case of Farouk.
Here, go ahead.
Farouk went unpunished. Mm-hmm. So many other people have gone unpunished. Obanikoro is walking around freely. Majority of these people that we said should be under the lock of prison, they are just going all over. But see this NDDC issue, I don't think it can go anywhere unless we maintain the integrity of the documents that are submitted to the House.
Who will maintain the integrity?
Yeah, because if those documents are not handled carefully, they could be tampered with, and they will not be admissible in court. We have to clear one area. It is House level we are now talking about. They are still going. If there is going to be a prosecution, we should expect them in a larger form. And the whole thing, we have to go all over and all over again, because they have to be cross-examined. They have to submit another witness statement and every other thing to corroborate whatever they have before the court. So, along the way, something may crop up. Something can be damaged. Something can be maligned that could lead to total destruction of the whole evidence, and the whole trial will collapse. We have to guide against that area. I'm telling you as a matter of experience.
When you talk, you're talking like you're a lawyer. That's why you talk that way. Now the question is, when you say we, who are the we? I mean, every other Nigerian.
I'm talking about those people that are in charge of the investigation at the House level, who are to transmit all those documents untampered down to court. Because there won't be any other opportunity for them to make any other statement. Those are the first-class statements they are going to use for the process of prosecution, if there is going to be any. But as matters stand, we just fold our hands and we continue watching, because we've seen so many things in the past. Masari, I'm sorry to say that, Masari, we all know Masari, we all know his background in the House during Obasanjo time. Masari is now the governor in Katsina State. Masari is now the governor in Katsina State. That is just to tell you how bad the system is in our same called Nigeria. Nigeria that belongs to you and I. Can somebody like Masari be anything in the system, given his background? I rest my case.
When you barristers begin to talk this way, we delay, man. Because obviously you just highlighted the issue of Masari now, and I talked about the case between Farouk and Otedola, these are cases in point. Yes, as we speak, none of them has been convicted. And here we have today. Let's now come back to the meat of that matter today. You and I are aware of what played out in the National Assembly today. We saw when the drama started last week, where the former NDDC MD basically was allegedly stopped from going out, because over the weekend it became clear there are some controversies in terms of inaccuracies when they say, oh, she said the armed police came to her house by 4 o'clock, and the police said, no, we didn't, they never came that time. The question is who did. But be that as it may, let's not get into the details here. But you can see that she gave her own interview via Skype or Zoom. And today we had Akpabio in the house. And today we saw the acting MD of NDDC, who came in an acting capacity to clean up the mess. We saw him fainting. When you saw, that man fainting today, what's your take? Now, thank you very much, Osuji, for joining us. Can I bring Joseph or Joe here? Joe, when you saw the professor, the current MD of acting MD of NDDC, what was your take? Joe, I hope you can hear me, Joe. I think Joe is now, I think your connection is frozen. And Obiotsuji, you can hear me.
Yeah, very clearly.
That video this afternoon of the current.
We are all humans.
Joe, go ahead.
When I saw him struggling with his health, yeah. Okay.
Joe,
when I saw him struggling with his health, I actually sympathize with him because it's natural. But it was really very hilarious.
Hold on. Are you sorry? How can you explain
there was
what
so
happened
much bravado last week? Oh, can you hear me now?
You keep breaking.
Can you hear me now?
I said you keep breaking. You might have to change position. Your connection is frustrating. Your connection is not.
Can you hear me now?
Try once more.
Can you hear me?
I just said try once more.
Well, the point I was trying to make is that we are all humans. Okay. When I saw him struggling with his health, actually, can you hear me?
We are listening to you.
Can you hear me?
We are listening to you. Okay, let me bring in Obiosuji here. Obiosuji, what was going through your mind when you saw the professor who is the NDDC acting chairman when he was struggling to, I don't know. Many people actually said that was a script. So, what do you think?
No, you see, the thing is this: I was first taken in. I mean, the human side of you will always come out when you see somebody struggling for what is perceived to be a health situation. And so I was watching. Suddenly, I saw the way the man bent. And so in my mind, I felt, man, this man is already getting tired with the different kinds of questions he was getting from, the panel. And then watching further on, suddenly it looked as if the man was getting into some kind of fit or sorts. And then people began to rush towards him. And then I was watching the whole thing. And somebody by my side said, look, forget what is happening. This is a script. That this man is devising a very...
What is happening with Nigerian network, you know? Now,
clever to get out of the whole conundrum.
Okay, Obiosiji is also out.
No, can you hear me? I'm back. Can you hear me now? No, a call was trying to come in. You know, a call was trying to come in.
Then go ahead. Obiosiji, can you go ahead, please? Well,
beyond that.
Barrister.
Yes, sir.
Here you and you and I, when you saw him, the question I asked Obiosiji, when you saw that man, what was on your mind? What did you think? You know,
wow.
Because they said, you know, I'm sharing a picture. People are starting making joke where they said, "Vomit that money, my friend. Vomit it." You know.
Yes.
So what's your take?
Yeah, when I saw him fainting, I first thought, oh, maybe it was unfit. But it's not a man of having a medical issue, because if he's on a medication or he has informed the house that he has medical issue, that would have been a different thing. But it was not reported as being on medication or having a medical issue or underlying medical issue. So, in my own view, I thought the question were becoming too overwhelming for him. And the only clever way to do it, is to manage himself under the dock of faint by pretending that something was going on medically. So because when one of the people was struggling with his mouth, I saw the man holding the hand of the person that was getting something into his mouth. So anybody unconscious can never have the opportunity of holding anybody. He will be helpless. He will not move the body. Everything will remain static as it is. But I saw this man's hand, fisting or folding the hand of the person that was trying to rescue him, meaning that he was very much around. Nothing was really wrong with him. Only that he was getting he was getting overwhelmed by the questions. And he knew the only way is to bring the whole session into dispute, dispute. So to do that is just to fake something so that the whole assembly could just wind up for the day.
Okay,
that's my own submission.
Okay, if I bring on a lighter note, as a lawyer, do you people sometimes advise your clients to play such scripts?
Well, you cannot do that one to court, because if you do that one to court, we are all what do we call us? We are agent of the court. At all time, you must at all time respect the court. You must at all time protect the court. You must at all time be an advocate of the court, not to work against the interests of the court. So no lawyer will be in his right thinking, knowledge, and ask his client, say, oh, you can fake this, you can think this, you can do this, you can do that. It's against the law.
Well,
it's against the ethics of practice.
It could be that you're defending your profession now, but it is not on Nigerian or on lawyers to advise their, they're probably to advise their clients to, as you rightly said, maybe to do one or two things like that. But let me come back to Mr. Obiosuji here. Obiosuji, you were saying something, and afterwards I come back to Joe. You were saying something before your network, again, obviously kicked you out. So you said when you saw him grasping for air, what happened to you? How did you feel?
Well, like I said, initially, I mean, it was a human feeling. You wanted to be sympathetic with somebody who looks obviously as if he's in a health crisis. But just like the lawyer just pointed out, one of the things that
Well, Obiosuji, once more, we cannot hear you. You appear to have been frozen once more. Joe, can you give it a go? Joe, can you hear me? Joe, can you give it a go? Okay. It appears your what's it called? Your internet is giving some issues. But let me share this video with us for the benefit of those of us who probably might not have seen this. Let me play this video for us so that we understand what was actually going on. Okay, so we can see the professor at his where how he was struggling, obviously struggling at that point. Hold on, let me get this. Sorry, let me get the correct video once more. Okay, Obiosuji, are you back? Are you able to speak now? Try once more, Obiosuji. You didn't finish your line of thought. Go ahead. Obiosuji, I believe you're back. Go ahead. Obiosuji, I think you're back. Can you go ahead, please? Joe, can you hear me? If you can hear me, can you go ahead, Joe? Because what's happening with the Nigerian connection? Okay, I'll take both of you out. Then I'll, obviously bring back. Barrister Bimbola, you can hear me?
Yes, I'm with you.
Yes. Okay. So obviously it is, since you can hear me, Obiosuji, can you hear me now? Are you sure Nigeria is not blocking the network? And
Well,
suddenly, Joe, has NEPA taken light in your area? What happened? You just gone darker than dark. Something is not adding up here, people. Are the NDDCs trailing us as well?
well.
Okay, Obiosuji, if you can hear me, go ahead, please. Okay, I think is not working with Obiosuji, honestly. Let me see if I can get that video to once more play. I don't know what's happening, Obiosuji. You're frozen. If you can probably reconnect, then I'll bring you in again, please. So let's see how the drama unfolded here.
You spend this money you said here on oath that you are preparing to pay students who are on scholarship.
Now, for the benefit of those who, for background here, he is being queried that they were spending monies, meant, the monies to go for people they've given scholarships within the Niger Delta. And this is the question he was being asked. And at this moment, someone was saying, I don't know, can we analyze this? Let me bring back Barrister, or rather, obviously, let me give you one more trial. Can you hear me? Obviously, for the last time, can you hear me? It appears you're frozen. Okay. So, Barrister, when you saw that video, the video I have on the screen once more, what was your thought? I can see his eyes, and it appears he was basically fanging it. What do you think? Was he really faking it?
Well, to be honest, it could be a plan work. It could be a plan work. Hello.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Barrister. I hear you. I'm with you.
It could be a plan work. They could have connived together that when the questions are getting to you too much and you cannot get yourself out of it, you have to think it. You have to do it. So it might be it might be a joint agreement between, the copies, the Akpabio, the MD, or whoever that is facing the trial. It could be a joint enterprise between them that, if things go nasty, this is how you play your game, or this is how you behave. So when you behave, the whole panel will be forced to close down, and that's the end of it. Then, when it is rescheduled for other time, we will then prepare ourselves. We harm ourselves with more evidence before we face them. That could be a plan work. So, because this man I'm seeing here doesn't look certainly fainted, he's looking, or he looks confused. But to me, this is not somebody. This is a drama to me anyway. This is a drama. I've seen something nasty than this. This is a drama.
Let's complete that video. What was he trying to do? Was he trying to do a CPR, standing up, and was he trying to give him?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that is what he was trying
to do. Okay, Joe, you have a lot of background noise. Okay. You have a lot. What's happening? You have a lot of background noise.
Is he coming from here?
Yes. We can hear your dog barking. We can, but anyway, go ahead.
Yes. Okay. Sorry, I've been on and off. The network is really bad. It's got a regular challenge here.
It's a trademark of Nigeria. Nothing works.
Yeah. Personally, watching the acting MD today, I just have to be human. In all honesty, I don't know whether it's acting or it is real. But personally, I would give that benefit of doubt that he was actually struggling with his health. Because if he has a case to answer, if he acts from now till end of the year, he will still face the music.
By who?
Acting sick and being taken away is not an exoneration for a wrongdoing. So, by the acting MD, I don't see why he should faint. It was fainting when he did not actually faint. So, I want to give that benefit of doubt. He was actually struggling with his health.
But hold on here. You see,
I give that benefit of doubt.
You said he might be struggling with his health. But let us play the video once more. You will clearly see that, you know, when the moment the man started administering what some people could consider CPR or mouth-to-mouth case in order to resuscitate him, and the following happened as the barrister said at the beginning, that he raised his hand. You can see that here. Let's see. Was the man trying to tear his mouth? Obviously, he wasn't. Was he trying to tear him? Is it the new Samson?
Now, hello. Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
No, it's now. Can you see? I mean, it's all a kind of the theater of the absurd. Now, it's not as if there was any call for any medical person to take a look at him. Everybody was just trying by error. That wasn't even CPR.
The upper and the lower jaw.
But But you separate the upper and the lower jaw. I mean, he wasn't biting his? He wasn't. He wasn't biting.
It wasn't as if the man was clapping. It wasn't as if he was clapping.
He wasn't clamping his.
No, he wasn't. And then again, if you watch what was happening, the man who was trying to help actually used his bare fingers, everything contravening all the COVID regulations. You see, now it is actions like this that even make the ordinary man in the street believe that there's something like COVID-19. It's. I mean, you feel that these people are. I don't know what kind of set of rulers. I mean, leaders.
But he already gave him kiss before the bare hand.
No, I don't. I mean, well, there was no match resuscitation. The man was even panting for breath.
No, there was.
No, you can play that. You can play that again. I see.
Okay, let's
go play it back. Play it back.
Hold on, let me do. But there was. Let's see.
Well, I know I didn't say anything like that, but I mean, I stand to be correct.
Look here. Watch it. Hold on. Let's watch it once more. Watch it from here.
Okay. Yeah.
Did you see that?
No.
That is the moment.
The camera angle cannot. The camera angle is not.
The moment he held him like Samson, and he held him close.
No, it suggests several things. Look at. I mean, see, the camera angle is. Look at the man's mouth and look at the positioning of the face. If he was trying to give him a watch, there was something like that. I think he was just trying to talk to him, make sure that he's all right. He was trying to talk to him because there was no match resuscitation. Nothing like that.
He was telling him, Oga, he whispered in the ear, Oga, you're doing well. You're doing well.
Mazi.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is this. Look, I don't know where our country is going to.
It's gone to the dogs. You're talking about going. We say it's arrived to the dogs. You're talking about
going somewhere. Going somewhere.
It has arrived at its destination now. It has arrived at its destination. You are still talking about going somewhere. The country has arrived
somewhere. We pray that it won't even be worse than where we are right now. Because this man apparently seemed unready for this for the panel investigation today. If you have started watching the interrogation or the questions rather, you find out that he was at a point he got confused. And let me tell you the point at which this man got confused and he had no other choice than to begin to play out this drama was when a specific road was mentioned in Delta State. I think it looked as if he was coming across that road for the first time. He seemed confused. And then one of the panel people kept asking him about the budget of the NDDC upon which they made their decisions. And he said, I will produce it. I will produce it. Don't worry. That was the time this man began to find out that, look, it wasn't, I mean, a stroll in the park the way he thought. Remember, this was the same man who last week walked out on the committee, accusing the committee chairman of having interest in the case. And that was why the man recused himself. Do you recall?
Yes.
So today was the end of, was the climax of the drama he started last week. And that was what we saw play out. Some of these people who rule us, they think inside their mind that Nigerians are fools, that we know no better. And I don't know how long they will carry on with this theater of the absurd.
Well, if we look at it, actually, he is not the first person to have fenged this. Here we have Olisametu at some point. You can see here we have Olisametu at some point coming to the, coming to court and stretch. At one point, he kind of acted as if he fell from that stretcher. I mean, he's not the first person. We have Dino Melaye as well. At some point, Dino Melaye did the same thing. Even when, honestly, you look at Mena did the same thing.
Well,
So,
you know what, Mercy? Well, we might say we might give an excuse for the two earlier cases you mentioned, the Metu and the Dino. Let me state why. Not necessarily because they were not also avoiding prosecution of some. In this case, this man has no indictment against him. I'm talking about this professor of the NDDC. I mean, it is his institution that is being proved, not him personally. And so, acting the way he did is to suggest that there is more can. I mean, there's more can of worms that is yet to be unearthed. That he was indeed trying to either protect something, protect those who are around him, or whatever. There was no reason for him to act the way he did. So basically, he wasn't as if he was the one being put in the stand. In the case of Dino and Metu, one can say, well, it's all a case of trying to get the judge to look at him, to look at them sympathetically and possibly close the case against them. So we're talking about, a situation where you have not just this man, you also have the Minister for the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, and then the respective board, and the respective interim management committee that is being interrogated here. Not just the man. So the man there's a whole lot of questions to answer.
Okay, so again, Obiosuji, are you still there, or are you?
I'm here. I stopped so that you can continue.
Oh, okay, so that's fine. Barrister.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Barrister. We can play this video 1 million times, as you rightly pointed out before. So you honestly believe this is just a script? He's just playing.
It's just a drama. Nothing happens to him. He's only trying to buy time so that he can. Exactly. He's only trying to buy time so that when he comes back, he will be in a comfortable position to answer more questions. He has already had the questions they will throw at him, and he will go away. Coming back is like who that runs away, who that fights and runs away, lives to come back. With a greater strength. So that's what he's playing. So that's just it. Nothing is wrong with him. He knows what he's doing. And it's a gameplay between him and Okpabio and every other person there present. So nothing is really wrong. They plan it because they will just among themselves say, when the questions are getting too tougher and you have no clue, you have to then throw in just throw in, and from there something will happen.
Basically, you're saying this is a sucker punch. Now,
of course.
After the camera went out, this is the same. What happened? Watch. You can see him being taken away.
On his leg.
On his leg.
On his leg. Not wheel. He's not stretched out. He's walking with his leg.
Obviously, what you said, now you see him walking with his legs.
You see, look, the question is this. What has been the follow-up news since that time? What has been the follow-up news since that time? I mean, shouldn't it be a matter of national importance? And I mean, for people to, even for journalists to do a follow-up and wonder, come, did the man die? Is he, I mean, has he been taken to an ICU? Is he in a hospital, rehabilitating somewhere? Why is that? Nobody is even, nobody, I mean, have you heard any further news from that event? Nothing. We have heard nothing. You see, look, they know what they are doing. The NDDC is a bit of corruption. It's a pity. You see, and that is why we should begin to speak certain truth to ourselves. The problem with Nigeria is not about one region or the other. The corruption cuts across regions.
Every region.
East, southwest, northeast, north central, northwest. Everybody is corrupt. I'll tell you something. Sometime around 2003, I was part of the people who developed, who conducted a study on and a report by the UNDP on the Niger Delta Human Development Index. And in one of the, stakeholder sessions we held, I remember somebody asked the agitating youths then, because that was about the time
oh dear, your network really know when to catch you, you know, whenever you're making a salient point.
Started cropping up gradually. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
Now.
Okay, good. Start asking the question, what exactly do the Niger Delta youths want? That do they realize that several monies have been poured into this region, and till date, and then one of them answered, it is nobody's business. It is our business. Let the federal government give us the money. Am I on?
Yes, you're on. Go ahead.
And then the person responded, I said, let the federal government give us our use it. Then later on we can talk to us. Is the challenge we are having. That we are not holding respective leaders accountable. We are not holding those who we see directly and those who we don't see indirectly accountable. That is the problem of the Niger Delta. If the respective stakeholders in the Niger Delta had been following on the kind of funds the NDDC had been receiving over the years and questioned expenditure, people like the MD we saw today, all the scam coming out from the NDDC as it relates to the minister of the Niger Delta, whether he's culpable or not, would have been something impossible, or at least at its lowest level. But unfortunately, we all see, and every focus is usually at the center. We keep on questioning what the center is doing or not. That is where the problem is.
Yeah, but the question is, you know, when we talk about the NDDC, what is it that the people could actually do? What is it that the people could generally do? Because, you know, it has become a pattern. You agitate, they call you.
There are some people, some organizations.
You keep quiet. You organize yourself, you agitate, they settle you, you keep quiet. There is no sustainable agitation in order to, because the reason why we are looking at this now or hearing this, after all, in the last 20 years, NDDC has been existing, they've been stealing, they've been looting the whole money, and we have never had a thing. It's just that it started now. So what has been happening in the last 20 years? That every single person, there is a document I will share with us today after I play Akpabio's video. You will see Akpabio accusing the head of the panel. Actually, let me play that video. It's not even about accusing the head of the panel. He was making a collective statement to every single person in the National Assembly saying that they are collecting money. And you can see how the chairman was trying to stop him. Now listen to him.
Because of the fact that we are doing forensic audit, that the NDDC plays a vital role in ensuring the peace and security of the region. and 90% or more of the resources of the country on a monthly basis comes from there. If you
see the threat he's trying to bring in. He's trying to tell them the obvious things that they know. That 90% or more of the whole revenue accruing to Nigeria comes from them. Okay, so you can see him continue.
All you have will be chaos, and you have a lot of not just militancy, but you have a lot of insurrection. So it is important that people who have gone to court, people who genuinely did job, should be paid for their job. So for me, I'm not against it because who are even the greatest beneficiaries? It's two people now. Because if you look at your chairman,
you see that now he's about to touch the chairman. Everyone watching me, pay attention here. What he's now trying to do, the chairman is trying to stop him from talking. And that is it. So you can see even the same house that is probing them are still part of this looting. That's why I can comfortably say that they are all thieves. They are nothing but thieves. How can you have a nation? You see, it appears the woman does not know that they are getting something, and you see that you will see the chairman of that committee pat the woman on the back, even tell her to keep quiet. See.
Are you asking me the benefit of National Assembly?
Yes, you just said.
I just told you that we
You
have
see?
got to
Yeah. Touch your stop.
The contract in NDDC are given out to members of National Assembly, but you don't know about it. It's okay. The two chairmen can explain to you. That is why I was a member. I was a member of the NDDC committee. It's okay.
Wait, you were a member of the NDDC and none of
Barrister Abimbola, are you still there?
I'm here, Mercy. I'm watching the drama.
So, Barrister, now you can see Akpabio using a subtle threat that if they stop NDDC, there will be insurrection, there will be militancy. And obviously, the same Akpabio said that the National Assembly are the greatest beneficiary because they get contracts. So what do you think?
Well, Akpabio is only trying to divert attention from the main issue. So all what he's saying is just rubbish. It's just an empty threat that goes nowhere. We see Akpabio to dictate for the Niger Delta people. He's just a minority there. Minority in the sense that he is from the smallest community in that region. I don't see him posing any threat of any kind. That's for that. Secondly, when we are talking about integrity of a panel or the credibility of a panel, I don't see this one being credible enough because, I mean, anybody to answer a question, if Akpabio was to come from detention down to that house today under guard, I think he will have behaved himself better. Anybody to answer this kind of question of national importance should be under the lock of at least a police station. It is from that police station they have to convey them down to the house, and from the house back to the police station and locked up until the investigation is over. Nobody answer investigation and being allowed to go all over, because what's the credibility of the evidence they are submitting? It goes nowhere because these are doctored documents. These are documents that will be doctored behind. A lot of things will change in all things that were before the assembly. And you remember, there was, objection to the chairman of the committee. You said that MD was objecting to the man to be the chairman. He knows the man himself knows something about what is going on. And when we are saying conflict of interest means anybody whose interest is conflicted don't need to appear, on the board. So if the the whole committee is to have integrity or to have credibility, suffice to say that chairman should be removed and be replaced by somebody else. Because I know there's something fishy there. Akpabio cannot be talking all over his voice without nothing.
Now,
the panel themselves, they have something there.
Now let us look at this document. This document clearly, you can see here, it says the chairman, Senate Committee on Niger Delta, dated when he was a senator, 7th of August, that is barely 3 years, 2017. Abuja, and it is very instructive here. This is an official document. This is an official document. And this document reads, look, here, highlighted, he said, dear brother. I mean, obviously, what do you think? Because this is absurd. You don't address such on an official document. Obviously, we cannot hear you. We cannot hear you, obviously. Sorry, we cannot hear you, obviously. We can hear you, but anyway, be that as it may, let me go ahead. Okay, try once more, obviously. Obviously, try once more. We can't still hear you. No, sorry. We can't still hear you. Sorry about that. But again, let me share the documents now that we have Joe back. Now, this document here clearly showed. I have two things that are very irritating here. Very, very irritating. Now, this is an official document, and it starts with dear brother. An official document, for Christ's sake, and it says Office of the Senate Minority Leader. So Akpabio, when Akpabio was making that statement that the majority of the people that benefit from the Niger Delta looting is the people in the house. That's why I can comfortably call them thieves. And here you are. And the project contains, it says, fencing of the Polytechnic Okana Akwa Ibom North. How much is it? 200 million. Fencing of the Federal Government College, Ikote Ekpene, 100 million. Entrepreneurship training on use of modern farming implementation. Modern farming implements, 750 million. Entrepreneurship training on the use of modern farming implements, again, for women, 75 million. So if you add these two together, that is 150 million. Now you have renovation of one hostel, not building of one hostel, renovation of one hostel, maybe to repaint it. Here we have 50 million. And at the bottom here, you obviously have the seal, which says Senator Dr. Godswill O. Akpabio Con. Again, come on. Come on, people. Even if this wall was the wall of China, 200 million. 200 million. I mean, don't we do things for the benefit and for the sake of tomorrow? Barrister, what do you have to say about this document?
Well, it's a matter of dog eat dog. They know what they are doing. The whole house and the Niger Delta people, they work in collaboration to sink the nation. So, like I said, to give this sitting credibility, let them go to the open court and argue this thing. Nothing could be resolved at this level of the house. If we say we have to do everything at the house here, nothing will come out of it. At the end of the day, it's gonna be Farouk Gate issue, where nothing was heard until the assembly wind up and gone away. So if this body is to have, if this case is to have a credibility, let them refer to the open court where the due process will take place. Then we will see the vanquished and we will see the victor at the court. So that's my own submission. But to stay in the house there, nothing will go on. At the end of the day, they will submit the documents to the Attorney General's office and all that, and from there something will go wrong, and we will not hire anything.
The one Magu camp is accusing of selling assets and all whatnot. I mean, the Nigerian state has gone to the dogs anyway. So obviously, you know that you're back. Hopefully, you're going to hear us, the conversation once more. Now,
Hello.
obviously, can I have your take on that document shared? The document, you can see we have fence.
Can you hear me then?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, go on.
Okay, fine. My brother, now, the way the letter was couched, my dear brother, now it speaks to certain truths. What is the truth?
Yeah.
That it is a club of people set with a common purpose to milk the country dry. The guy who the letter was directed to is indeed his brother. His brother in arms.
Yeah, but not in an official document. Not in an official document.
That's to tell you, see, look, listen. I mean, the common balance, the common saying, power corrupts, absolute power corrupts, and it does what? Corrupts absolutely. So at this point, where these fellows have allowed whatever level of immorality to take over them, at this point, at this level, they care little about anything. They don't care. That is why he cannot even tell the difference between what should be an informal letter and a formal letter. He calls the man his brother because in truth, the man is his brother. They have spoken before now. He has been told what to write. He has been told what amounts to put in place. And so out of the abundance of his, joy and happiness and looking forward to the many millions to make, he calls him his brother. It's that simple. Look at the items there. Now, you see, look, let's even put some of these things aside and ask ourselves, then what should go, if this was a country properly run the way it should, what should be the next steps? You'd have expected that the EFCC would begin to say, come, hey, let's go into the NDDC. There is not just one financial crime, but you have several financial crimes coming up. Shouldn't the EFCC right now, at the background, begin to investigate the NDDC? Should it wait until perhaps President Buhari, whoever is the acting chair there, and say, go and investigate and find out those who are culpable? Because whether you like it or not, there is only so much the current investigations will do. What they might probably do is indict whoever should be indicted. And they leave it at that. A serious country at this point, this the EFCC, the ICPC, if this is part of their job description, we need to look at what happened at the end. Just like the barrister mentioned, all these things will be swept on the carpet. It's not the first time in Nigeria. It's not the second time in Nigeria. It's not the third. It's not the fourth. We're seeing this kind of drama. They all manifest differently. Today we can see a professor fainting and slumping before the wall. Tomorrow we are going to see another vomiting. The next time we are going to see someone go into coma right in front of the wall. They don't care. This is how low this country has gone. How can any serious country, how can any serious citizen of any country ever take us serious?
And why don't, sorry, gentlemen, I have this question. Maybe Joe and the barrister, you can help me here. Is it not possible that for someone like Akpabio, that he should be relieved of his duties until this investigation is finished? Or is it not within the remit of the National Assembly to do that? Joe, can you hear me? Joe, I believe you're frozen again. Barrister Bimbo, what's your take on it? Would you Do you think that it is right and proper to relieve him of his duties and investigate this?
Well, like I said earlier, the first and foremost thing they're supposed to do, they will be coming to court.
Is there any legal precedence to your suggestion? I like it in principle.
The law is there, only that they refuse to use it. The provisions are there. When there's suspicion, then you have to move in as quickly as possible to preserve the evidence. So, because what's the point of people coming from their home to answer court at the assembly? They will go home and manning or to disrupt the investigation, whatever measure they can. They have the police at their command, and they have the DSS and everything at their command. So, but if the law take its right course, person like Akpabio will not have a field day as he's having in the house today. He will be under the lock, and whatever documents he wants to use will be brought to him in detention, verified by the officer on duty before it's given to him, and his lawyer will be there. They can be placed under house arrest, not necessarily in detention, if that bothers you, but to allow them to have, free movement all over. What inquiry? What inquiry do you think?
Not for 1 second does that bother me. Actually, it will make my day to see some of them, if not all of them, behind the bars. I have no apologies, because this is basically a collection of people raping and taking our common patrimony.
You and I, we were in England when Fashanu was alleged to have done something with the process of a match fixing. Immediately that thing brought to the police. They pick all of them up and bang them at different police stations. He was picked at Lushan. Fashanu was picked up at Lushan and then docked at the Lushan police station, and that was where he went to court.
And here we are. I can't. Sorry, but when I'm looking at this document, I don't know. The document just makes me 200 million to do a fence. I don't know how many kilometers. If anybody here watching us, if you know this university, if you can tell us if this fence actually, because this was approved in 2000, let's do this. If you're watching us and you have information, you can call this number and make your contribution. Let us actually know if this job was done, because obviously 200 million we're only talking about the ones given to Akpabio. If you add 200 to 100 is 300. 75 plus 75 is 150. That's going to give you 450. So plus 50, that is 500 million. Holy moly. Only one state. Holy moly.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Obiosuje.
Okay. Now, something else, that rankles in all this, especially when you look at a document like this carrying the name of the minority leader of the then Senate. This is a man who steered the ship of Akwa Ibom for 8 years, I believe.
Yes.
And a man who, at the same time, before leaving office, left himself, came up with the law of some kind of humongous compensations, or what's the word for it now?
Pension.
No, it's no. It's called a sovereign's allowance, whatever they call it.
For the past governor, all to himself. Severance allowance.
Severance allowance and pension.
What are they severing? Are they going to war?
You said?
I said, what are they severing? Are they going to war? Are they soldiers?
No, I mean, these are people who, as far as they are concerned, they have worked, they have sacrificed more for Nigeria than the average man in the street. who keeps on trying to, you know, cut out a living for himself day in, day out. As far as they are concerned, they've done more than any other Nigerian. Look, like I said, you see, these are the things that when people look at it and you begin to feel that, look, the so-called anti-corruption war of this present administration under the APC is just a scam. All the so-called body language of the anti-corruption stance of Mr. President has been whitewashed. I would want to expect, just like the question you put before Barrister Bimbola, that the right thing for this senator to have done is to have, first of all, recused himself in the same manner the chair of that committee did today, before the sitting started. He recused himself, whether it was all part of the game or not, but that is the right thing to do. You would
again, and Obiosuji, your network has done it again, which is also part of the problem. Part of the part of the problem is that the infrastructural decay within the system. That anytime something appears to happen, you know, the network goes gaga. Now let's complete that video and hear out Babio in his line of thought.
Wait, you were a member of the NDDC and lot of you were a member of the NDDC in the 8th Assembly, and are you telling me that lots of jobs were awarded to you as a member?
No, this is the problem. That's why I said you
then you have the right to accuse people. Then why don't you bring up the people that
to me? What are the chairman?
If you were not awarded a contract, then why are you coming here that you are aware that you were a member of the NDDC and lots of contracts were awarded to you? You said I'm not aware. I'm telling you that bring up those things.
May I inform my honorable sister that is why we have to change.
Honorable Mr. Pitch, it's okay. That is okay. That is okay.
But let me explain.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Let me explain.
It's okay.
You're not allowed the two
It's
chairmen to
okay.
have the
You see,
It's okay. Up your mind.
you see where the issue is. Suddenly, the gentleman began saying that it is okay. This is a man. Barrister, are you still there? Are you with me?
I'm with you.
Okay. So suddenly, the same man that's supposed to be the chairman of that panel started saying that it is okay in order to stop the woman, because obviously it appears the woman doesn't understand the game being played, and they've been, you know, bombarded her to keep quiet. And that is a nation. I think, Joe, you are back.
Yes, I'm back.
So
Yes.
it appears you changed your network. Did you move to
Yeah.
I just moved to my phone from the laptop.
Okay, then yeah, your laptop obviously is more, it gives you more, it appears more live and it's more bright. Okay.
Yeah.
So Joe, before you came in, we were discussing about the statement the chairman of that committee was making when he obviously was telling the woman to zip it and that Babio to stop. Now, my personal thinking is that the woman was talking about something that she didn't understand, and that Babio was trying to rattle the house. But there are some things which links back to those documents, or the document I shared before, clearly showing that the chairman of that committee knows what Babio was up to, and he clearly knows that they've been receiving money. What's your take?
I think I agree with you. The woman doesn't even understand the game going on in the commission. Babio has been in the system for a long time. Some other members have also been in the system for a long time, so they all understand the game. So she seems to be a novice in the whole setup. It took her quite some time to. I think by now she have been able to understand what the game they're playing in the house. She didn't understand that initially.
Yes, I think she didn't understand. So we have a caller here. Let's see if we'll get information as to regards to the schools mentioned there. Who do we have on the line? This is Mazezoke here speaking. You're live.
Good evening.
This Uche.
Okay, Uche, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Iceland.
You're calling from Iceland?
Yes.
Okay.
Just don't have information concerning the school. Just want to put a little bit input.
Okay, can you make your contribution very quick, please?
Split. When the Akpabio was asked about the NDD.
Okay.
Like you rightly said that the woman don't know the game being played, and she was trying to ask Akpabio own kind of worms, and the chairman saw it and tried to stop him and saying it's okay, which is absolutely not okay. So this is
it's just like Barrister Bimbola, just like Barrister Bimbola here in the studios, who said that it is dog eat dog kind of thing. I think I like that description.
Exactly.
You say dog eat dog.
This is dog eat dog issue, and as all this investigation being viewed, it's good for us to see all these things. But the acting that fainted or faked, I think the issue will end this National Assembly. I don't think anything will come out of it, because it seems like they are just playing according to the script.
Anyway, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your contribution. So that means you are agreeing with us that there is nothing, you do not believe that anything will come out of this orchestrated script. 100%. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. So, I mean, you can see the caller agreeing with us. And let me come back to Joe. Joe, you were saying something before the network disrupted. Obviously, you do not also believe that anything will come out of it. Now, gentlemen, thank you very much once more for this conversation this evening. In conclusion, what is it that you guys think would happen? Is there any solution to the maddening madness that we have in the contraption we called a nation? Barrister.
Well, the whole thing is in a mess now. But my suggestion is, if we can hand over the whole process to the police as dangerous as EFCC. Give me. Well, yeah. Maybe we have to accept our fate. Because if you ask the police to come in, it's leading to another Armageddon. If we ask EFCC to take over, EFCC is having its own problem. And ICPC is a lame dog of the whole, a security outfit. Court is the only alternative. But who will do the investigation? Investigation matters in prosecution. Without investigation, no prosecution. Let's get hold of investigation first before we talk of prosecution. But those are the two lines that connect each other. Too dangerous, too blur. I can't phantom a way out for now, Mercy.
You can't phantom a way out.
I can't see a way out. I can't see it.
And that is the saddest. That is the sad. We've got to tell ourselves the truth. If we are being objective, that is the saddest thing that's happening. That no one could actually genuinely phantom a thing. Many people have been asking, where is your president? In all this maddening madness, you can hear him. The only thing, he just zips it. He says nothing, and absolute nothing happens. In line with what Barrister Bambola said, let me show us this thing once more here. this is a video of Farouk Awan. Because when we talk about these things, pay attention to what Femi Otodola was telling him, how much he collected, and this case went to court. It's not a question of, oh, it was only a probe. It went to court, and up to today, there is no conviction. So how can it be? Pay attention here. You see, $500,000. $500,000. Pay attention. You see, the balance will be 2.5. Otodola talking. $2.5 million. And he will give him the remaining money. See, he will give him money cash. 250,000. He will give him cash. $1,000, not naira.
Yes. But to carry it, I don't want them to see
You see, he gave him the one, and they agreed to bring the other one where they've met, according to Otodola, where we met before. They know where they met before, where the previous money was handed over to. But even as with this all evidence on camera, you and I, everyone, Google it, Gandola, you Google it online, you saw how monies were given. Yet, a sitting governor collecting dollars, smiling like a Christmas goat. I don't know the solution, honestly. Obiosuji, what proposition do you have?
Can you, am I clear?
Yes, you're clear now.
Okay, good. Yeah, well, they say in life, there's always a way out. There's always a solution of sort. And what's the solution here for me? Well, back to what Barrister Bimbola said before now, and I agree with him. No point getting the police and the EFCC involved. It will all be drama. We're going to read fantastic revelations in the newspapers, and then finally it will end. The best they can do, even if they get that far, is to take it to court. And then at the end of the day, after 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 sittings, it begins to drag and drag. So what can be the humongous intervention here that can help change the narrative? Is for President Muhammadu Buhari and those who handle him to see this as an opportunity to send the right message to the world that they mean their so-called anti-corruption fight. And what is there to do? Arrest these people. Arrest Senator Akpabio
with executive powers or what?
Whatever it is, just ask for them to just arrest all of them first of all. I mean, they do it to other people. If this was an opposition thing, they would have, I mean, what would you have expected? They will go and arrest people. Arrest these people. Allow, once the president is involved, look, my brother, if the president is involved, that investigation will be done. The right investigation to take this matter to court will be done. If the president comes out and says, I want to get to the root of this matter, and has it over to somebody specific to do it, we are going to get somewhere with it. And then you take this matter to court. And then, but you and I know that will not happen. But that is the only thing, that is the only thing that can help change this narrative right now. Any other thing here?
So, obviously, you are actually expecting an uncommon arrest.
An uncommon arrest, an uncommon confession, an uncommon jailing.
Oh dear, you are dealing with uncommon people.
We are dealing with uncommon times in Nigeria.
Well, these are people that had uncommon defection, you know. Well,
they also had an uncommon invitation to defect. Look, Mazi, my brother. Look, let's tell ourselves the truth. Look, Nigeria is in a mess. But I keep saying something, sir. The problem with Nigeria is not this corruption we're talking about. Corruption is only a symptom of the malaise Nigeria is suffering from. Corruption is just one of it. Until we sit down to discuss about Nigeria, until the respective units making up Nigeria decide to say, look, we want to be part of Nigeria under these terms, or break it if it has to. But let us discuss Nigeria. Let us discuss Nigeria. You know why, sir? Those who are waiting to eat out of Nigerians' cake are more than those who are presently eating.
That's correct.
Yes. Look, many people are in the wings waiting because, look, nobody gets into office to thinking about Nigeria. There's something at the back of the average Nigeria. I mean, there's something at the back of the elite that Nigeria will not be sustained. So there is something about something pushing them to take as much as they can from Nigeria before it finally crashes. This is my take. And unless we come to sit at the table and discuss together, we are all wasting time. We'll keep on seeing this charade because that is just what it is. And look, we'll keep on lapping up the drama. But one day, I know one day, something will break the camel's back.
Well, what is it that can break the camel's back? We've been hearing, I mean, how many years now? This year, this nation will be 60 years, I think, is it? Will be 60 years old.
Mazi, it took the police harassing that poor hawker in Tunisia for the Arab Spring to break up.
Boy,
I don't know what it's going to.
No,
I don't know.
Not before here.
No. That's what we think. That's what we think. Look, let's just keep that space in view. One day, something will break this camel's back. We can't continue like this. It's not possible. We can't continue like this. The so-called oil.
You know why it's very hard for me to agree with your line of thought in terms of having a sort of a supernatural or something that would trigger it. You see an army of, or rather an avalanche of people clapping for the chiefs they call leaders in the sense of, you know, think of a governor now that in office he stole and everybody was crying. That governor visits his state. You see people cheering, telling him, crying. We saw when Okorocha was in the governor of Imo State, and people were crying. Okorocha left, became a senator. He comes home. You would think Jesus Christ is coming. We saw yesterday, not two days ago, Oshomola entering triumphantly in Benin City. I mean, come on. So
why not? Why not? It's still under that same. It's not really a principle, but it's still under the same.
What stops us from turning them? Now, I ask this question because it is always easy to point accusing fingers. And my question is, if someone like that is coming out, any of us talking here this evening, would you be proud to attend such events or to even associate with these people? I'll say for myself, no. And I know some of you won't. So who are those that you see every single time, rather than do justice to those that keep raping them?
It is those who know that the Oshomoles, the Rochas or Korochas have their commonwealth. They go to them to see what part of that commonwealth can get to them. It is all part of waiting to loot the treasury. It's all part of it. At whatever level you think you are, grab as much as you can. That is what is at play in Nigeria. At whatever level you are, grab as much as you can. Because the leaders, the ones before them, the ones before them, and the ones that look as if they will come after them, do not care about you. They don't. They don't. Look at even the COVID situation in Nigeria. Look at the manner and way it was pursued. The way and manner this COVID affects the common man and how he will leave post-COVID. It's none of their business. Nobody is thinking in that line. Everybody is thinking. Now, the thing is this. Now, can you imagine? Oyema, the External Affairs Minister, told us that he tested for COVID how many times? 4 times.
And people haven't tested for once.
He said he tested for COVID how many times? He said 4 times. The 4th one was because he felt a scratch in his throat and he went to test again and then he became COVID positive. So he has now gone to quarantine himself. Now, get somebody who is sick and needs to be in the hospital. Nobody will attend to that son of a no name.
They will test you with eye.
Let him show up. I have somebody who was sick. A lady was sick, was showing all the signs of all the symptoms of COVID, and went to one of the centers, and she was turned back. She was told to go and do some kind of stupid test, and said she doesn't know where she's going to do it. And then she was shaking. And at the end of the day, this lady went back home to treat herself. Thank God she's now better. But most likely she had COVID. Most likely she had COVID. Now, if she was the daughter of the president, if she was the daughter of even former President Obasanjo, if she was the daughter of former President Goodluck Jonathan, all protocols would have been broken down for her. That is the country we run. And so tell me, sir, if you are a boy of 18, 19, reading stuff like this, what kind of mindset will be forming inside you? What will be the mentality? It is that in this country called Nigeria, is survival of the fittest. This is the same country where we have an MC Oluomo. I don't know how true that report is. A guy who is the head of National Union of Road Transport Workers in Lagos State.
Agberu.
And Agberu, as they say, this somebody like that we hear is the one in charge of 774,000 jobs for Lagos State. I don't know how true it is, so that let it not be as if I'm accusing the man falsely, because that is what one read somewhere. Now, imagine, sir, how a boy of 17, 18 somewhere would read a news like this and tell me his mentality and not ask his daddy and his uncle why they want to send him to school. When all he needs to do is stand in the road, shout at conductors, collect whatever he can collect, and one day he can also begin to give out jobs. We need to sit down and renegotiate this country. And those who don't want to stay, allowed to go.
Exactly.
We are there.
You've summarized it aptly. It is time to renegotiate this country from its foundation. And those who doesn't want to stay, many of us don't want to, then they should be free, maybe through a referendum, to kiss the nation goodbye. Joe, I hope your network would permit you to make your suggestion. How do we resolve this quagmire?
Well, the whole world is watching Nigeria.
They've been watching us now, is it not today?
But it's getting to a climax now.
Nah, so they be every time.
Becoming a daily show of shame. You hardly hear any serious news coming out of Nigeria, except for Nigerians who are in diaspora. You wake up in the morning, is from one bad news to another bad news. So if we are taking ourselves seriously, it is time for those people of authority to do their job properly. I think the ongoing probe is another opportunity for those in authority to show leadership. If we miss this opportunity,
Joe, I'm sure your network is MTN. I'm sorry to. In fact, the thing was that I was on MTN. I think kept on taking me out. I'm sorry. I'm calling the network out. I mean, the MTN is a very poor and sad network. When you want to do Zoom conferences, streamlining, it's the worst network to use. If you can move over to Airtel, as annoying as that one too is, In fact, I had to. That is why I've been steady since, because I had to move over to another network. Joe, if you keep on doing that with MTN, I think you keep on having this kind of problem.
Okay. Anyway, on that note, let's leave all the the networks to keep doing their nonsense. It's just that we don't have any form of leadership. Sadly, it is something that is very sad happening in this nation. I thank you all for your contribution this evening.
Thank you.
As you all rightly said, the sad thing, the sad takeaway from the conversation we have had now in the last hour and a half is none of us actually sees a green light, and that's a sad commentary, and that's the reality, because we do not have the leadership, we do not have what it takes to even give us succor, to give us the faith that something could come out of the whole mess. It appears we are basically jumping from fire to the frying pan every single day. That people will hear. Sometimes, and I read these things, it gets me, because it appears they only steal in billions. You no longer hear that someone takes, 1,000 or 500,000. Everything must be in billions. Everything must be in billions every single day. A sovereign wealth being cuttered away. And no one talks about the next generation. No one is interested in the next generation. It is indeed a sad commentary, and it is indeed a sad thing happening to Nigeria. Once more, thank you very much, Barrister Bimbola, and my brother Obi Osuji. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you too.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah,
and
we hope.
Mr. Osuji, it's long time.
Yes, I look forward to joining to bringing you back.
I will definitely come back very soon.
Yes,
just give me 2 more weeks. I will be with you people.
I
really miss you.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
Thank you
very much, everyone.
Okay then. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So everyone, thank you very much for that wonderful evening discussion. I remain one.